Material alteration. We have sections 14, 15, and 16 of the Negotiable Instruments Law. What do we mean by material alteration? So there is material alteration when a material element in the instrument is altered or changed. So meaning there is a change in the date of the instrument, the amount payable, the time or place of payment, the number of the parties and their relations, or there is an alteration in the medium of currency in which payment is to be made. And these changes class, these alterations are considered material. So, for example, if the date is December 1, and then it has been altered, no? Gi-change nimo from December 1 to January 1 the following year, that's material alteration. Instead of 10,000 pesos, gi-change nimo to 100,000 pesos. Imong gi-increasean og 0. You add another 0. So from 10,000, it becomes 100,000 pesos ang amount due. That is material alteration. Instead of 50,000 pesos, gihimo nimog 50,000 US dollars. That's material alteration already. So those are the changes, no, in an instrument which are considered material. Okay, let's have an example. M makes a promissory note for 300,000 pesos, payable to P or his order. Then P endorses the note to A. A alters the amount to 500,000 pesos, then endorses it to B, who endorses it to C, and from C to H. So question, may H recover from M? If so, then how much? Okay, so there are what do we have here? How many payees, no? Or transferees. So we have P, A, B, C, and H. Si H ang nagunit na karon sa instrument. Okay? So there is a series of endorsements or negotiations. Now, the question is, may H recover from M? M is the maker of the promissory note. Okay? And if H can recover from M, how much? How much can he recover from M? That's the question. Okay. Here, class, since H is a holder in due course and is not a party to the alteration, kasi if the problem is silent, class, the holder is deemed a holder in due course. When you say a holder in due course, it means that you are able to obtain the instrument, meaning the instrument is being negotiated to you, no? Is being passed on to you by the previous holder. In good faith, okay? Meaning in good faith. You have no idea, you have no knowledge about any irregularity or infirmity of the said instrument. You are in good faith. And because of that, you can collect from the instrument. Makakolekta ka. Wala kay idea, wala kay knowledge nga ang instrument gi-alter, ang instrument gikawat, ang instrument di ay gi-forge na ang signature ng let's say ng maker or ng previous endorsers. So as in totally blanco ka as to any infirmities, as to any irregularities. Mo ng holder in due course. And because of that, you can use it as a shield, no? You can use it to protect you, meaning because you are a holder in due course, you can really collect. You can really collect. Kolekta ka sa instrument kung how much makakuha ka. Monong pasabot ng holder in due course. And if the problem is silent, class, the holder or the payee is deemed a holder in due course. In this example, there is no mention whether or not H is a holder in due course. Hence, the problem is silent. And if that's the case, the presumption is that the holder is a holder in due course. Okay. So since H here is presumed to be a holder in due course and is not a party to the alteration, kasi ang nag-alter, it's A, diba? Kanang naka-red dira. Look at the diagram. Pag abot kay A, there was an alteration made. A altered the amount from 300,000 nahimog 500,000 pesos. And then it was being endorsed to B, to C, and ultimately to H. Okay, in that example, class, H may recover the original tenor, which is 300,000 pesos only. Okay? 300,000 lang because of such alteration. He cannot recover the 500,000 pesos. What if he is not a holder in due course? Meaning, nasa idea nga na-alter to ni A. Can he collect from M? No. He can collect nothing. He can recover nothing. So he recovers nothing because he is not a holder in due course, meaning in bad faith siya. Na siya idiyang gi-alter, iya gihapon gi-dawat ang instrument. Okay? But here, since H is a holder in due course, then there is a presumption that what's the idea about the alteration? And because of that, he can collect, but not the 500,000 pesos. Only the 300,000 pesos, class, the original amount indicated on the promissory note. So the answer here is yes, but up to 300,000 pesos only. Section 13, insertion of date. So where an instrument expressed to be payable at a fixed period after date is issued undated, meaning walay date, okay? Or where the acceptance of an instrument payable at a fixed period after sight is undated, any holder may insert therein the true date of issue or acceptance, and the instrument shall be payable accordingly. So class, the insertion of a wrong date does not avoid the instrument, meaning it does not make the instrument void in the hands of a subsequent holder in due course. But as to him, the date so inserted is to be regarded as the true date. Okay? Kung unsang nakabutang na date, kasi blanco manggod ang instrument. Okay? For example, I promise to pay P 10,000 pesos on December 1. However, December 1, 2022. However, the date of issuance, blanco kung kanus-an niya gisulat. So, you can insert the date. And whatever date is being inserted thereto, or thereon, no? It is regarded to be as the true date as far as the holder in due course is concerned. And if the date being inserted is wrong, kasi dapat na-issue siya, gisulat jud siya originally November 5, pero ang gibutang November 15. Well, the wrong date being inserted will not make the instrument void. It will not affect the validity and the negotiability of the instrument. Okay? So these are the questions pertaining to Section 13. Is Section 13 applicable to an instrument payable on demand, although undated? Applicable ba siya? Payable on demand siya, then walay date. The answer, of course, is not. Why? Kasi diba, kapag payable on demand, even though there is no date being written on the instrument, it means, class, that the payee can ask for the payment of the said instrument anytime that he wishes. Kaya nga, payable on demand. But, remember that there is a limitation. Why? If that is, let's say, a check, and that is payable on demand, kasi undated ang check. If the check is undated, if the instrument is undated, the presumption is that it is payable on demand. Okay? If you can still remember what we have discussed in my audio lecture, no? In Section 1 of the NIL, and the requisite of negotiability that we have discussed pertains to dates. If the instrument is payable on demand or at a future determinable time. Okay? So again, the presumption is that if the instrument is undated, I think that is Section 7. If the instrument is undated, then presumed that it is payable on demand. Okay, so Section 13 class will not be applicable. You cannot insert such date because, or insert a date for the issuance, or insert a date for, let's say, for the due date. Why? Because it is already payable on demand. Meaning, class, that ang payee, anytime, pwede siya makademand. It's just that if it's a check, it can only be encashed within a reasonable period of time. So, pag magsobra 6 months from the date of issuance ng check, stale check na siya, meaning it becomes worthless, valueless, and you can no longer present it for encashment sa bangko. Okay? Number 2, does the insertion of a wrong date in an undated instrument make the instrument void? Again, as I've mentioned, no. It will not avoid the instrument. It will not avoid the instrument. It will not make the instrument void. Okay? So the insertion of a wrong date in an undated instrument by one having knowledge of the true date of issue or acceptance. Kabalo ka, November 5 ang issuance, pero ang gibutang nimo November 15. It will not avoid the instrument as to him or anyone claiming under him, but not as to a subsequent holder in due course, who may enforce the same notwithstanding the improper date. So as to the holder in due course, the date inserted, even if it is wrong, is regarded to be the true date. Kaya wala man siya kabalo nga naadi ay nahitabo nga insertion of wrong date. But as to the person who inserted the wrong date, the instrument becomes void as to him. But as to the holder in due course, as a rule, the insertion of a wrong date in an undated instrument will not make the instrument void. So sa number 2 class, mangutana ka, it depends ang imong tubag. No? If as to the person who inserted the wrong date, the instrument is void. But as to the holder in due course, without knowledge of any insertion of such wrong date, para sa iya, kato nga date na gisulat dito, even if it's wrong, in truth and in fact, but since he's a holder in due course, wa siya idea nga nahitabo nga alteration sa date, then that instrument is valid. Section 14, incomplete but delivered instrument. So kindly read section 14 of your NIL. So this refers to an instrument that has been signed either by the maker if it is a note or by the drawer if it is a bill of exchange. However, the instrument here, class, is not completely filled up. Let's say, for example, as to the amount, blanco pa siya. So when it is delivered to a person with the intent that the paper be converted into a negotiable instrument, the delivery of the paper is a prima facie authority, meaning there is an implied authority for the person to whom it is delivered to fill it up for the amount as instructed to him. Okay? So the party primarily liable, let's say the maker, if it's a promissory note, is liable to the holder in due course even if the amount filled up is not in accordance with the authority given. So what is important is that the paper was delivered in blank. Let's say blanco, walay amount na nakabutang. But there was an intention to have it converted into a negotiable instrument. Mo nang pasabot sa section 14. For example, M signs a paper and delivers it to P with instruction to convert it into a negotiable instrument. M tells P to write 1,000 on the amount as the amount due, okay, on the instrument. But P, wag niya gisunod si M. Instead of 1,000 pesos, P wrote 10,000 pesos sa blanks, no, sa blank or sa space provided for the amount. Then P negotiates it to H, who is a holder in due course. May H recover from M? If so, how much? In this case, class, the delivery of incomplete but delivered instrument is only a personal defense. No? Personal defense. Hence, it cannot be set up against a holder in due course. Di siya magamit na depensa. In other words, a holder in due course can still recover, can still collect from the instrument. So can still recover from the maker. How much? Is it 1,000 or 10,000? In this case, class, it is 10,000 pesos. Why? Because Section 14 provides that the party primarily liable, or the maker in this case, liable siya sa holder in due course even if the amount na nakabutang is not in accordance with the authority given. Even if M instructed P to write only 1,000 pesos but P wrote 10,000. Kung unsa ang nakabutang sa instrument, mauto ang amount na makolekta ng holder in due course. What if H is not a holder in due course? Then he cannot collect the 10,000 pesos. He recovers nothing. Okay? So, walay makolekta if H is not a holder in due course. Different siya, class, sa ganiya sa atong first example, katong sa material alteration. Because there, nakasulat na jud, no? Nasulat na nga 300,000 pesos. But, gi-alter to ni A, remember? From 300, iyang gi-change to 500,000 pesos. That's why the holder in due course there can only collect up to 300,000 lang, not the 500,000 pesos. Kasi originally 300 ang gisulat, gi-alter to 500,000. Here sa section 14, originally ang gisulat jud kibali 10,000 pesos. Walay alteration jud na nahitabo. Na gisulat ang 1,000 then gi-change to 10,000. No. So you apply here section 14 kasi the instrument here is incomplete as to the amount. Blanco siya sa amount. Gisulat originally, bale, kanang 10,000 mo na ang first nga amount na nasulat sa note. Kaya, 10,000 ang makolekta ni H in this case. But in the first example that we had, originally ang nakasulat 300. Kaya i-follow nimo ang original nga amount na nasulat. Kaya 300 lang, not the 500,000 nga mao'y new amount as being altered by A. Section 15, incomplete and undelivered instrument. Okay? If an instrument is incomplete and it is not intended to be delivered, and someone completed it and negotiates it, the instrument so completed and negotiated is not a valid contract in the hands of any holder. Pag may kag any holder, then it is not a valid contract even in the hands of a holder in due course. That is why Section 15 is considered a real defense against a holder in due course. And if it's a real defense, it can be set up against a holder in due course. And if it can be set up or used against a holder in due course, then a holder in due course cannot collect from the maker in case it is a promissory note or from the drawer, okay, in case it is a bill of exchange. So that's the difference between a personal defense, kasi ang section 14 is personal defense, section 15 is a real defense. Okay, example, if M signs a note without placing the amount or the payee's name on it, okay, and then he merely puts the note inside a drawer, that means, class, that he does not intend the delivery of such note. No? The note is not intended for delivery. Hence, the note is undelivered. Kaya nga, incomplete and undelivered. Walay amount, walay payee's name, wala pa jud siya gi-deliver. Walay intention nga ihatag sa payee. Then what happened next? P, okay, steals the note and inserts his name as the payee, and also inserts 10,000 pesos. And then P negotiates it to A, then A to B, who is a holder in due course. Question, may B recover from M? And if so, how much? In this case, class, B cannot recover from M because an incomplete, undelivered instrument is a defense even against a holder in due course. It is a real defense that can be set up or that can be used against a holder in due course. So, pwede na siya magamit against the holder in due course. So, kung mayroon ng holder in due course, si B, I would like to collect from M based on this instrument. Moingon din si M. This is under Section 15. This instrument falls under Section 15. Hence, you cannot collect from me. You can recover nothing from me. Okay? Because this is a real defense that can be used against you. If it's a real defense class, Section 15, the holder in due course cannot collect, cannot recover. Kasi ingon pa sa Section 15, such instrument is not a valid contract, is not a valid instrument in the hands of any holder. Any meaning whether holder in due course ka or dili. Okay, so that is Section 15. How about Section 16? Complete but undelivered instrument. Okay, there is a valid and intentional delivery that is being presumed here. And Section 16, just like Section 14, is only a personal defense against a holder in due course, meaning a holder in due course can always collect, can always recover if the instrument falls under Section 16. Okay, for example, M makes a note complete in all respects and payable to bearer, meaning kompleto, may date, may amount, tanan requisites, no, for negotiability present. And then he keeps the note inside his drawer, wala na deliver, pero kompleto as in tanan. My payer's name, my date, my amount, my place of payment, everything is there. Then P steals the note and negotiates it to A, and then A negotiates it to B. So B now is the holder in due course. May B collect from M? If so, how much? Since this defense is only a personal defense against the holder in due course, then the holder in due course can recover. Okay? Kung how much ang amount indicated in the instrument, then B can collect such amount in full. Again, complete undelivered instrument is only a personal defense. If B is not a holder in due course, then he cannot recover. Okay? He cannot recover. So that is Section 16. Okay, we have your summary of Sections 13 to 16. To answer the question whether or not the holder in due course can recover. So, Section 13, insertion of date. Remember, insertion of a wrong date will not make the instrument void as far as the holder in due course is concerned. So, Section 13, this is just a personal defense, hence a holder in due course can recover. But if you are not a holder in due course, you cannot recover. Section 14, incomplete but delivered instrument, only a personal defense, hence the holder in due course can recover. Section 15, incomplete and undelivered, this is a real defense that can be used against a holder in due course, hence a holder in due course cannot recover. And Section 16, complete but undelivered, again, it's just a personal defense, hence it cannot be set up against a holder in due course. That's why holder in due course in that case can recover. Those holders which are not holders in due course class cannot recover.